The receipt fluttered out of her purse and landed face up on the kitchen floor, and my stomach dropped before my mind could catch up. She was in the shower, water rushing loud enough to drown out the small sound it made, but I stood there staring at the words like they were speaking directly to me. Date. Time. Restaurant I knew well. Dinner for two. Dessert included. The total circled in pen, like someone had wanted to remember it. An hour earlier, she had smiled gently and told me she was fasting, that she felt lighter when she did, more focused. She'd kissed my forehead and waved off my offer to cook. I'd believed her because believing her had been my default for years. I picked the receipt up slowly, my fingers shaking, and put it back where it had fallen. When she came out wrapped in a towel, steam following her into the hallway, I was sitting at the table pretending to scroll through my phone. "You okay?" she asked, drying her hair. "Yeah," I said. "Just tired." She nodded, already drifting away, already somewhere else. That night, I lay awake listening to her breathe, every inhale and exhale a reminder of how close she was and how far away she felt. My mind kept circling the same thought, refusing to land. There has to be an explanation. There always is, until there isn't. The next day, I didn't mention the receipt. I told myself I was waiting for the right moment, but really I was afraid of what her answer might sound like. Instead, I watched. I noticed how she skipped breakfast with practiced ease, how she claimed hunger headaches while scrolling through her phone, smiling at messages she never shared. I noticed how she dressed with more care on days she said she'd be home late, how she checked her reflection twice before leaving. When I finally asked, casually, if she wanted to eat together that evening, she shook her head. "I'm still fasting," she said. "Maybe tomorrow." I nodded, the lie settling between us like a third person at the table. That night, after she fell asleep, I checked our shared bank app. I hated myself for it, the way my hand hovered before tapping the icon. But once I started, I couldn't stop. There it was again. The same restaurant. A different night. Same total. Dinner for two. I sat on the edge of the bed until dawn, the room slowly filling with gray light, wondering when love had turned into surveillance and how long it had been that way without me noticing. Over the next week, the pattern sharpened. Fasting days lined up neatly with restaurant charges. Late meetings matched reservation times. She grew distant in small ways, pulling her hand back when I reached for it, answering questions with half smiles and practiced patience. "You're imagining things," she said one evening when I asked why she seemed so distracted. "Not everything is about you." The words stung more than they should have. I wanted to argue, to insist that marriage meant shared space, shared truths. Instead, I apologized for pressing. One night, she forgot her phone on the counter. It buzzed while I was rinsing a glass. I didn't look at the screen. I told myself that was a line I wouldn't cross. Then it buzzed again, and again. When I finally glanced down, I saw a name I didn't recognize and a message preview that said, "Last night was worth breaking the fast for." My hands went numb. I locked the phone and set it back exactly where it had been, as if that could undo what I'd seen. When she came back into the room, she picked it up without noticing anything was wrong. "You're quiet," she said. "So are you," I replied. She looked at me for a long moment, like she was weighing something. Then she smiled, that familiar smile that used to mean everything was fine. "I love you," she said, and went to bed. I stayed up, the glow of the kitchen light harsh against my eyes, replaying every memory I could think of, searching for the moment where this version of her had begun. The confrontation didn't happen all at once. It came in pieces, like truth often does, sharp edges cutting deeper each time. It started with a simple question over coffee. "How long have you been fasting?" I asked. She shrugged. "A few weeks. Every Tuesday and Thursday." Her eyes flicked up, just for a second. More or less. I slid my phone across the table. The bank app was open. She stared at it, then at me, then back again. The silence stretched until it felt unbearable. "Why are you checking that?" she asked. "Because I'm trying to understand," I said. "And you're not helping." She exhaled slowly, rubbing her temples. "You're overreacting. Dinner for two isn't a misunderstanding," I said. "Neither is the message I saw." Her face changed then. The softness drained away, replaced by something guarded and tired. "It wasn't supposed to happen like this," she said. I laughed, a sound that surprised me with how bitter it was. "When was it supposed to happen?" She stood up and walked to the window, arms crossed tight against her chest. "His name is Daniel," she said. "I met him at work." The room felt smaller with each word. "And the fasting?" I asked. She turned back to me, eyes shining. I didn't want to lie, but I didn't want to tell the truth either. "So you chose both," I said quietly. She sank into the chair across from me, shoulders slumping. "I didn't mean to hurt you." The sentence felt rehearsed, worn smooth by repetition. "How long?" I asked. "Long enough," she whispered. "We talked for hours after that. Or maybe we talked in circles." She said she felt invisible. I said I felt replaced. She said it started as conversation. I said it ended as betrayal. Every explanation she offered landed wrong, either too small or too late. That night, she slept in the guest room. I lay awake, staring at the ceiling, listening to the house settle around me. Every sound felt louder without her beside me, every memory heavier now that it had been cracked open. The next day, she told me she would end it. I wanted to believe her. I almost did. But trust, once fractured, doesn't snap back into place just because you wish it would. Days passed, then weeks. She tried harder, or at least differently. She cooked dinners again, asked about my day, reached for my hand on the couch. Sometimes I let her. Sometimes I pulled away. One evening, as we cleared the table together, her phone lit up on the counter. A name. The same one. Just one message. "Are we still on for tomorrow?" She saw my face change and followed my gaze. For a moment, neither of us moved. "I was going to tell him no," she said quickly. "I just hadn't yet." I nodded slowly, something inside me finally giving up. "You shouldn't need time to decide." She started crying, saying she was confused, that she didn't know how to let go of something that made her feel alive. I listened, numb, realizing that love shouldn't require this much explanation. That night, I packed a bag. Not everything, just enough. She watched from the doorway, the same place she'd stood years ago when we moved in together, hopeful and sure. "Are you leaving?" she asked. "I don't know," I said honestly, "but I can't stay like this." At the door, I paused, the weight of it all pressing down on me. I thought about the receipt, about the lies that had started small and grown teeth, about the meals she'd shared with someone else while telling me she was empty. Outside, the air was cool and still. I took a breath that felt like the first real one in weeks. As I walked away, I understood something with painful clarity. Betrayal doesn't always explode. Sometimes it erodes quietly, meal by meal, until one day you realize there's nothing left to fast for except the truth.